All right, we are back here on this show, and it's time to go. Topic number 3. Where do I begin? Is Mike Tyson's legacy tarnished after the Jake Paul fight? And Zay, I'll let you do the honors to kick us off, and then I'll pick up.
I mean, absolutely not. Absolutely not. His legacy is not tarnished because he that fight with Jake Paul at 58 years old. His fight's not tarnished. If anything, his legacy is even more improved than when he was a prime boxer. The man walked in there at 58 years old and made $25 million and walked out scot-free. Walked out healthy. Walked out and got his family more generational wealth than he already had. How is this legacy tarnished for fighting a 27-year-old kid, knowing how the media works now, know how money works now? He's a businessman. That's savviness. He walked in there and stole money and walked out of there clean, without a hitch. Y'all was expecting what? Prime Mike Tyson? Y'all expect what was y'all expecting? A 58-year-old who hasn't been in the ring for years. Like, what are we talking about? And people are upset that he's making a mockery of the sport. And this is tarnishing the sport. The sport is dying. No, that's not what happened here. Because every boxer in the world now, especially the way they box and pick their opponents now, is make the most money and walk out clean. Go out there, get a few points, run around the ring. Nobody's digging for knockouts in mass majority like they used to back in the day. People are running around. We got people like the Devin Haney's of the world walking around scot-free, calling himself the best pound-for-pound fighter because he does the same thing. All he does is make money and get out. Go to the ring, make money, and get out.
And sue people when they get knocked out.
And people, except when they get knocked out, of course. But people sit there and acting like this is not the day of the sport. This is not the name of the sport anymore. That people that this is not what it is in the modern day today. People are going back to the 90s talking about old boxing this or the early 2000s like old boxing that. It's not that anymore. We have way more defensive fighters, way more guys who are looking to counterpunch than lead charge and go get a knockout or go win the fight. They're not trying to win the fight decisively. They're trying to creep around, get a counterpunch in. If they get a knockout, it's cool. But all they are is looking for style points. And that's what boxing has been for the last couple years. Recently, it's been better. I will say that. Recently, the boxing has been better. And that undercard was actually really good. And that people, I know a lot of people didn't talk about because everyone's focused on the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson aftermath. But that card was pretty good. But in terms of Tyson, it's like, I wasn't expecting him to go in there and dominate this kid. I wasn't going there. He made $25 million. When I heard the purse before I even saw the fight. He's talking about 20 plus million. Oh, he's not going into the fight. He made his money. He's chilling. He's just going to go in there making sure he don't lose his brain cells or get knocked out or lose half his skull. As long as he goes in there and that's it. Other than that, he's chilling. So for me, his legacy is not tarnished. If anything, it only enhances what he already done in his career. And now you can add on another accolade, which is robbing the youth for $25 million.
I mean, look, I think his legacy is affected, not boxing wise, obviously. It's Mike Tyson we're talking about here, one of the greatest of all time. But I'll get to where I think his legacy will be affected, more so outside the ring type of stuff. We'll get to my point, right? We'll build the blocks to get there. But first off, when asking the question, was this fight good for boxing? It's not boxing, what we're watching here. Now, you could say it was good for women's boxing, obviously, because of the undercard. The Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor rematch was very entertaining and highlighted women's boxing in front of a larger audience. So obviously, I know a lot of people that never watched women's boxing prior to Friday night. Well, guess what? They was able to do that. So I think it impacted women's boxing. And if you ask me what type of boxing it impacted, more so women's boxing, right? But the fact of the matter is, we have never been closer to World War III in America. Okay. We have never been closer. Do you hear what's going on in this world right now? All right. But yet 60 million viewers tuned in, convincing themselves that a 50-year-old, a 58-year-old, 60-year-old grandfather, once an all-time great, once upon a time, but currently is selling weed on his podcast, was actually going to beat somebody that is young enough to be his son. People convinced themselves that that was going to happen. Okay. And we have to realize that this was nothing more than a business transaction. My guy, Mike Tyson, is from Brownsville. He's a hustler. I'm a hustler, baby. I just want you to know. Okay. He's a hustler. He's from Brownsville. I can't sing. I know that. But listen to the facts. Okay. My guy's a hustler, and that's what he did. He ran up a bag. My guy, Ben, was trying to get money outside of the ring. He tried to link up with P. Diddy. He tried to get into the music business. Okay, we saw him sitting next to P. Diddy, but P. Diddy touching up on his leg. Okay, he sacrificed himself for money. Okay, he was willing to do that here, showing his butt cheeks in a daggone locker room, humiliating himself. Okay, so when we talk about, boxers like Arthur Beterbiev coming out and calling out Jake Paul, when we talk about guys like Canelo, I don't even think Canelo mentioned his guy name, to be honest with you, but Arthur Beterbiev and other guys calling him out, you're playing into his game. He wants you to call him out. He's never going to fight you, Beterbiev. You think he's going to risk his life? Okay, no, he's not going to fight you, Beterbiev. What you're doing is giving him the clout that he wants. That's how his show keep going. When you call him out, okay, he's playing everybody, and unfortunately for the American people, a lot of American people are dumb. Now I realize we're a little bit smarter than what I thought because of certain things that happened the last couple of weeks. So I'm like, okay, maybe there's hope. But the average person is dumb. They know that. Listen, I saw this fight at the bar. Why? Because I couldn't watch this sober. I already knew. I would have got fed up and turned this joint off. Okay. So I was at the bar. I was like, hey, go ahead, Tyson. Whoa, wow. Wasn't even throwing nothing. Okay. But I'm over here screaming. That's why I watched the fight. Okay. Now, as far as legacy and why I think it impacts his legacy, like I said, nothing inside the ring. Okay. Nothing to do with that. Outside of the ring, stuff that he got into, which impacted him in those high, big strength of schedule fights, which he was 0-2 against Evander Holyfield and 0-1, I believe. I believe there was one fight with him and Lennox Lewis he lost, right? That impacted that part, with the rape situation, acquisition, whatever it was that, obviously made him miss time. That affected him in boxing. But when you talk about an iconic African-American from the hood, from Brownsville, being able to be a heavyweight, when you showing your butt cheeks like that in the daggone locker room, right? I mean, come on, what are we doing here? I mean, maybe that was a sign that the fight was going to be literally ass. Okay, maybe that was a sign there. Okay, but just like Denzel, who obviously accomplished a lot in movies and acting, we look up to this dude. Training Day, King Kong got nothing on me. Guess what? He came out talking about, I kissed the man, I liked it. Okay, recently. That's going to impact how I see Denzel Washington. Okay. And this fight on Friday, nothing boxing related, but the theatrics that came with this, because clearly this was a show more than it was a fight, is going to impact the way how I view Mike Tyson, with all due respect to my Brooklyn brother. And it is what it is. And that's my take.
Yeah, I mean, like, I understand that component when you discussed everything that you said in terms of like how people view him, how people think, and perspective wise. Understand all of that, right? It was like Dujane just said, it was a business deal. $25 million just sit in the ring, right? I'm not gonna knock you out, I'm not XYZ. Just sit in the ring, you're not gonna get hurt. I thought that was a great business plan. Make your money, especially since if people who followed his career from the beginning of time, from when it started to when it ended, most of his money got robbed from Don King. There's a boxer who made $400 million in his career, and he was in debt and $20 million at the end of it. So we talking about making $25 million in a night? Yeah, let's do it. I don't know if he's still in debt. That was what happened at the end of his career, $20 million in debt. But $25 million to sit in the ring, not get hurt, why not? He could take a punch. It was never that he couldn't take a punch. You're talking about Jake Paul. Jake Paul don't got no power. He ain't no, like guy who is gonna knock out a serious boxer out, especially Tyson. Tyson was eating those punches at 58 years old. So it was a good business deal. Now, for those who were watching, anticipating Mike Tyson to come out there and show what he could do, or they looked at his workout videos and said, oh, that's the Tyson of old we know, we see. And that's not what it is. Jake Paul is a YouTuber, but most importantly, he is a businessman. And he knows how to make money. The man just made
Yeah,
$40 million
true.
off of this fight.
Clear.
The
He
man
knows how
knows
to.
how to make money, but it opens the doors for boxers because Jake Paul opened that door to now other boxers who have huge credibility. I want to fight you because I see the money that is backed on these fights because boxing is not giving that money towards the boxers that called them out. Javante Davis, I don't think he ever made $40 million in a fight, and he's a big time boxer. Better be. I think he called him out. I don't think he ever made $40 million in a fight, let alone 25.
The only person that probably made as much as Jake Paul was probably Canelo.
Canelo. And even Canelo's like, well, I'm making this money without that. But if I fight Jake Paul, I can make even more money fighting against him because of my credibility, because of X, Y, and Z. That's what Jake Paul does, unfortunately, for the combat sports. Because now he's opening the door. You have to pay these guys because if they don't, I could bring them onto here and I can get them paid. That is the door he's opening. And it's going to force boxing, force MMA, all these other organizations to rather A, be comfortable losing the cash cows of your business or start paying these guys more money, which might mean less profit for these other organizations.
I mean, look, when you talk about why I believe to some degree that Mike Tyson's legacy was tarnished, right? I made it more so than outside of the ring stuff. However, there was a light bulb that went off in my head as you was talking. And I'm saying to myself, how should I feel about Mike Tyson willingly taking a dive in the ring? Knowing what I know about him and what he has accomplished in the sport, obviously being an all-time great, had arguably the best prime in boxing. Him or Roy Jones, you could go either way. I'm talking about best prime. Okay, sort of like DMX and 50 Cent in hip hop, just prime, like of dominance, do like a year or two span. Mike Tyson will be up there, right? And to see that guy willingly take a dive, to me, that impacts him. It impacts the way how I view him. I'm sorry. I don't care what nobody say, oh, he's 60 years old. Him selling out for the bag, a sport that he, love, that, what I'm saying, that we think that he love, right? In boxing, he sold out. To me, that impacts the way how I view him, bro. And if Canelo was to do the same thing and take this opportunity, like, okay, yeah, I can make another bag, with Jake Paul, and let's say he takes a dive, I'm going to look at Canelo funny because you was the one that told us that you love boxing so much that you want to fight 2 to 3 times a year. Okay, but you love the money though, because you want to take a dive. I'm going to look at you different. With all due respect, all these fighters that's out here taking dives against Jake Paul, I'm looking at them different. That's if they're a real boxer. If they're not a real boxer, then I don't need to look at them any type of way. Clearly, they wanted the bag, right? But if you are a boxer with a legacy like Mike Tyson, I ain't gonna lie, I'm feeling the type of way. I am. And like I said, I had to watch this fight at the bar.
No,
I could not watch it at home. I was not gonna watch it at home.
But
I was not gonna do that to myself.
That's the issue, because that goes to what the promoters are doing to these boxers. They're willingly to be embarrassed so they can make ends meet to make more money, because these guys are putting their house on the line and making not the money that these guys are profiting, these promoters. So if these guys are willing to embarrass themselves at X, Y, Z to make a couple more money, that's more shameful on the sport. That's more
like
shameful on boxing.
that's
More
like
shameful on MMA.
that's like Joe Harris, who doesn't even play in the NBA, crossing over Michael Jordan and dunking on him, bruh. You know what I'm saying? Like at a daggone charity event. Like, yo, Michael Jordan, what's going on, B?
That's the issue. Like, imagine it like a polarizing figure, right? Goes to the Canadian Football League, makes all this money, starts to make that league all that money. What's gonna happen with the NFL? More players are gonna go to that league because they see that if you do this, you'll make more money, and they'll just migrate over. And the boxing has to be careful in MMA, because if the Pauls and whoever else comes out the woodworks and start doing these parody events, making insurmountable amount of money, a lot of these fighters are gonna go over there because they want to make money. They want to make the bag. Sometimes once they already proven that they're the biggest and the baddest, they don't want to just keep fighting for chump change. They want to get paid. And it seems like Jake Paul is willing to open that door for them.
I mean, look, I would say this is my last point. Last week, Take for 99, I said that Steph Curry inadvertently ruined the NBA because of the 3-point shot, and everybody want to be a copycat, right? You can argue James Harden is in that category. I've seen a lot of debates recently about that, James Harden and Steph Curry, who revolutionized the NBA. But clearly a lot of teams, and just the way how they're playing 5 out, and they're copying Steph, right? He ruined the game of basketball to an extent, right? Inadvertently. And I can say the same thing about Floyd Mayweather with these exhibitions that he put on. With everything is about the money. Okay, let's run up a bag, right? Let's get people to buy into Conor McGregor and Floyd that it's going to be a competitive fight. We're going to sell it like it's going to be a real fight, knowing damn well he had all the advantages in that ring and run that fight easily. Could have won it even easier had he wanted to win it. Okay, he opened the door for this clown show that we saw on Friday night. Okay, and we're going to see more of that. We're going to see fighters like Tyson Fury, who almost got the Usyk fight spoiled when he fought Ngannou in the exhibition, when Ngannou arguably should have won that fight. And even if y'all didn't think Ngannou should have won the fight, he knocked Fury down. That could have been over. It could have been no Usyk fight. So what? We going to put the heavyweight division on hold into the back burner so we can run an exhibition? No, stop it. Okay, stop it. Enough. Okay, Mike Tyson, you're my guy. We from Brooklyn. Know what I mean? 60 years old. Bye. Okay, take that 20 million that you got. Go to Cancun. Get you a Chinese girl and call it the day, or get you a sister. Okay, Jake Paul. It is what it is. I don't got nothing to say to Jake Paul, right? Because he gonna do what he gonna do, and people still gonna watch it. It is what it is. My name is Lil Shadamas. Topic over. Okay, we gonna move on here. Say I abruptly called the topic over, but do you have anything else that you want to add?
That was it. I'm good.
All right, topic over. Okay.
Please like and subscribe for all the up-to-date content. You've been slinging shows left and right, slinging content left and right. Please don't miss anything. If you do, like, subscribe, leave a comment, leave a question, something you may want to answer, something you may have. All ideas are great ideas. Nothing's a dumb question.